Sexist time.
Oh no.
We got this big trailer. It was actually the closer for the PlayStation State of Play. God of War Laufey.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
So here's a few things. All right. I didn't play the newer God of War games. I played the first one of the old ones. So I don't know much about the story, nor do I care. And I realize God of War is super popular and everybody loved the newer ones, and that's great. I don't give a shit. Like I didn't play them. So a lot of people coming out and defending this decision are rolling through she is very, very important and constantly talked about in the game for the first two, for the two recent-ish games that came out for PlayStation 4 and 5. So I get it. She's an important character that he fell in love and had a child, and this is him moving on from the original games, yada, yada, yada. Great. I think her role as what turned Kratos around, almost in a, not to reference something that me and Ross love to talk about, but an Enkidu sort of situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Is an interesting civilizing characteristic to Kratos' character conceptually. Once again, I don't know anything about the character or whatever. What surprised me is, do we need a game about Kratos' dead wife?
I can answer that for you. No.
Well, you're just going to say no sarcastically.
So the thing is that why do people play the God of War games? They play the God of War games because of Kratos.
Yeah. I'm surprised it didn't make it about his son more, honestly, but...
Well, it seemed like that's where they were headed, isn't it? I haven't played them either, so...
So I unfortunately know the story of those God of Wars, and when you read more into it, this is very stupid.
Ooh, do elaborate.
Okay, so his son's name is Atreus.
Yeah.
And you learn going through it. I haven't played the game.
I do know who he's supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, so spoilers if you don't want to know, people. Anyway, Kratos' dead wife, Atreus' mother, calls him Loki. And you're like, oh, okay, so he's supposed to be Loki? That's weird. And you kind of get the hint that his mom was one of the giants who they all, like, mysteriously died, disappeared. So her being named Laufey, as in the frost giant, so Loki Laufey's son?
Yeah.
Even though Laufey was supposed to be a dude, frost giant, but now it's his mother. So that's weird. Yeah. It's passed immediately.
Now, needless to say, this crawled out a huge amount of aggressive conversation on the internet. By that I mean huge amounts of anger and bitterness and hatred, or huge amounts of shilling and bending over backwards to defend it and telling everybody that they're sexist for not liking it. I'm going to reiterate Chase's point, and if you play God of War, you want to play Kratos, because that's kind of the point.
Yep, that's it.
My reaction to not knowing who she was, well, what? So just because she married to Kratos, now she gets to count as huge, major, awesome character. It's almost like that Bill Burr joke where he's like, what, because you boned Kobe, now you can make layups?
How many three-pointers have you scored?
Right. Now, they try to make it out to be like, oh, well, she's amazing. She's awesome. You have no idea in the story, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me read a few things. In an interview with IGN, developers explained that Faye has always been one of the most important characters in Norse saga. We've talked about Faye for years, said Cory Barlog. Kratos is like a brick wall and he's a little stoic, said Lawrence. How do we show somebody who's his equal as she is?
Instead of actually writing a good character, we are now getting another reskinned man.
No, not even. It's dumber, Jason. So let's just play out logic. For those of you who are shields of this, I get it. It's fine. You're going to love the game, and our opinion is not going to mean anything. Why would us having something negative to say about this affect your enjoyment of the game? Unless your enjoyment of something like this hinders on public approval, which is a weird thing to do. But I digress.
Yeah.
The reason why Kratos is a big deal, not just his revenge story, not just the things his rage and going after people and killing some of the gods, but the fact that this had never really, in the concept of the God of War universe, somebody murdering an entire pantheon of gods was a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
So rare and so unlikely. And the justification was he had a massive rage boner for the God of War for basically causing him to kill his own family in the original God of War series. And he's like, I'm going to get him, and just screamed his way to the top of Olympus. That's a big deal. A shocking, surprising big deal. They even talk about, for cutscenes as I recall, he's notorious for the person that killed off all the gods in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal. So now you're implying that the chick he found is his equal. So she now gets to go and start murdering gods from other pantheons? Because she's also just as good, and just like the odds of that happening, where some chick that he hooks up with is also just as good as Kratos. Look, I would buy that she has some sort of thing in the afterlife that she has to go do, but to make her out to be she's also going to kill a bunch of gods as well, makes what Kratos did undermines the emotional impact of his story and elevates her to a unearned degree.
Well, not only that, but it undermines the previous two God of War series games of the series, because she acted as a civilizing influence on Kratos. Now, she could be... Well, let me back up and say this. She doesn't need to be his equal in terms of raw power, aggression, rage, any of that stuff. She exerted a calming, civilizing influence on him.
But see,
so he treated her as his equal and became much more of this father figure for his son and all this other stuff. And now they're basically just chucking that all in the toilet and coming up with this. No, we got now a female God of War.
When we see Kratos in the newer games, he's a different guy.
Yeah.
He's a calmer guy. He's a father figure. They called it Dad of War because he was a different person, his influence he had on his son, and all of that. But to them, equal isn't an important role to affect Kratos' life. No, to them, equal is she also has to murder as many gods. Otherwise, she's not as good. Which is really weird and kind of stupid. And kind of belies the weird insecurity that happens when they write female characters. There's nothing saying you can't have a badass female character. What's weird is you have to take his dead wife and be like, also she's just as good and she's murdering a lot of people just like Kratos did. And Also, she can do backflips, and it just sounds insecure and stupid and ridiculous. It's like you didn't need to do this to her character. Her impact and her death was important enough to escape. The fact that she's around somewhere kind of undermines the fact that she died and had the influence she did on their lives. Does it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like it to me.
And the thing is, if they had done this a different way, if they'd said, "Hey, we're going to make a game with an awesome female warrior, and she's going to be able to do magic and swing a sword and all this other stuff," it would have been fine. Nobody would have even batted an eye. But because they've now this is the goddess of war, as opposed to,
actually
they're just basically kicking Kratos out of his own
the
series.
trolls on the internet are calling God of Laundry.
I don't know. Like I want, like we should have this particular part of the discussion all the way through. But one thing that I will point out is, because I haven't played the other games, like I just haven't. The ones I played were the original 3, kind of like a little bit. Yeah. I never owned them. I was an Xbox by that point rather than PS2. Yada yada. But just watching this trailer, knowing nothing about the new ones, or at least very, very little, this is the most like talking down to you, pandering, trying to use all the emotional like heartstrings bullshit that we've been getting from god awful fucking games the last 5-10 years. That stupid lizard bird dog thing, the when they were like captured that weird, was it like a dog Pegasus thingy, and then like it's like, it's just all like, oh, but that's cute too. And I don't care. And then the stupid fucking Jack Quaid gel cube and the talking fucking ribbons with the ugliest Kiwi accent on the sword. I don't care. All of that has turned me off entirely. This game could look amazing, which it doesn't really. Like, it looks beautiful. Lot. Yeah. It is cinematic Sony slop, the game. Okay, like, look at all this cool stuff that happens in cutscenes. The gameplay is fine. Just have it be gameplay.
And the game probably is going to be fun based upon the other games that are very popular.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. But then all these crazy things that happen in the cutscenes, which is such a problem with Sony games for the last little while. And I just, my God, and it was a problem with the old, famously, Conan O'Brien has a joke like, oh yeah, it's still going. I haven't pressed a button in 40 minutes. And you combine, so even without all the baggage of the weird, no, I'm doing it too. Sisters are doing it for themselves, possible undertones or overtones, whatever. Even if you take all that out, this is just such trite crap. I mean, just so cheap in everything they're trying. Have you seen the footage of them mocapping with Jack Quaid? Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's beautiful. They have a stupid PVC box around him to. Why are we mocapping him? He's a cube of Jello. I don't. What are we doing? He doesn't have a face. There's no need for him to be on stage. None.
You know what came to mind here while you were saying this?
Dumb.
Let's say you have a story about just a psycho degenerate, raving lunatic murderer, and he murders a lot of people, and then you have a time jump forward, and in the story he has a son, he's calmed down. And you're like, oh, the dead wife really did something to change this man. And then you find out she's as much of a raving lunatic murderer as he was. And you're like, why would he marry somebody just as bad as he was?
Yeah,
screaming.
exactly.
And, like Kratos was notorious for his rage-fueled, gore-fest murder rampage where he tear wings off of harpies. And
yep.
And here's the thing. Here is a token to those who are like, well, what, you only care about Kratos. I don't actually care about Kratos at all. You could have done a female-centered story in the God of War universe, because they're just like, well, think of this as like a side story or whatever. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then do like a Valkyrie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do his
would've
dead
been-
wife who's just as good and just as powerful, who's also killing gods. You could tell a story of a Valkyrie killing monsters doing for whatever reason, and her story somehow is related to the God of War universe. The point isn't we want a female character. The point is she has to be just as good as Kratos. And that's the point that they need to make. That's why we're getting this game. You can't just have anybody. It's like, no, that girl who's so important to everything. In fact, she's probably more important than Kratos himself.
And I don't know. This is kind of my general issue with the new Gears of War. Wow, Freudian slip. God of War games anyway. Like the original God of War games kind of seemed like a story that, while turned up to 11 in some way, was still a story that could be like Greek mythology. A man raging against the gods, fighting against their pettiness, their shittiness, all that.
Which actually conceptually has an interest, like, works better in Greek mythology than it does in Norse, but anyway.
Well, and that's the problem, because, like, you want to know what really killed the Greek gods? Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus killed the Greek gods and the Norse gods, and, like, so, which granted, I'd play that game. I'd play the shit out of that game. However,
Jesus shows up and suplexes Zeus or something.
yeah, like, A, it's maybe a little blasphemous to the Christian religions, and B, like, I may not have the appeal, but like when you start expanding this out to all the pagan gods are getting taken down by somebody kind of within the culture, in a sense, it's like, well, yeah, because they converted to Christianity probably, or maybe Islam, depending on the time period in the area. Like,
well, it would be Christianity first, Islam much later. One thing to point out: the original intention, and I'm not joking, in God of War was that Christianity did exist. So conceptually, Jesus was in that universe to some degree.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I don't know.
Secondly, the reason why it works best in the Greek pantheon is the Greeks' relationship with their gods was such that when you pray to Greek gods, you didn't pray for them for help. You prayed for them to not interfere in your life. It was almost like, dear Zeus, please don't screw with me. I've had enough hardship that,
please don't turn into an animal and bang my wife. I beg you.
And it was more of an appeasement. So it conceptually works really well in the Greek pantheon, because Kratos being angry with the gods for interfering in his life and causing havoc would fit. Like, going after the gods and being angry with them. The gods were not huggy, feely, personal relationshipy like the Christian gods would be later. God singular would be later. The thing is, the Norse gods didn't have a similar relationship with the people that worship them. They genuinely worshipped like Zeus and Odin, or Thor and Odin, and tried to emulate their behavior and sentiment. They didn't have this contentious relationship with the Norse gods like the Greeks kind of sort of did. Well, the Romans copied the Greeks, so the Romans also did, but you didn't pray to Thor. You didn't pray to Zeus. You appeased Zeus so he didn't screw with you.
Yeah.
You do pray to Thor that he might bless you in battle so you can murder your enemies.
Right.
Conceptually, it's different. That you got my point.
So I don't know. Even like I said, if you take all this other stuff out, this game just feels cheap. Feels very cheap, and it's trying to use all the crappy millennial ass writing that, God, who cares?
Well, much to everybody's.
It feels.
Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say it also feels that it's riding the coattails of better games, as
Yeah.
opposed to doing something good and I don't know.
Much to no
Anyway,
one's
Unique.
But
much to no one's surprise, we also found out that Alana Pierce
Mhm.
wrote for this game. Worked on
And
it
for real this time.
4 years. She was the gaming community quite liked her for quite some time until she started to make really stupid, lame comments about
What about situational disabilities?
situational disability, as well as grading games at a 7 because they're more complicated. Remember that?
God. Yeah. God, she's so stupid. Fuck.
CBH
To be a mediocre, good-looking white woman in this industry. My hell.
We got some comments from our listener. Hercules gets no respect. He doesn't.
No.
I would
Sadly.
be more interested in a Hercules game set in the God of War universe. That'd be interesting. He has to.
yeah, that
He
would
has
be
to go
cool.
deal with Kratos or something. Maybe that's how Kratos dies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Xena will show up. That'd be freaking badass.
It's just Kevin Sorbo Hercules. We're back, baby.
She flies sideways and throws that ring boomerang thing.
A Hercules game based on the 12 Labors might be interesting.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't
Anyway.
call it God of War. It'd be a whole separate thing, and you have to bank on the God of War brand. Look, it probably will sell okay, but there's a lot of negative reception. Incidentally, I have some quotes. God of War Laufey director Ariel Lawrence, not because she's a woman, but because, of course, a woman's directing the game, with the woman in it. Understands why some fans are unsure about the series focused on Faye, but hopes they'll give the game a chance. I understand the skepticism. I hope they will give it a chance and be excited to play, Lawrence told GameSpot. She said the team still wants to deliver what fans expect from God of War, calling it an epic story that has tons of fantasy and violence. Almost like you could have done that with Kratos, but at the very heart of it, it's still a really human, personal story. Lawrence also said the goal is to show Faye as the warrior that Kratos fell in love with, that changed his life. It's more interesting for Kratos as a warrior-obsessed psychopath for a non-warrior to change him.
Yeah.
That's kind of a charming story, that what got to him was not violence.
Right.
But no, she has to be just as good a warrior as he was. While exploring parts of the world mythology fans haven't seen before. Anyway, as for Frankie, the Cube companion voiced by Jack Quaid, some fans worried the character made the game feel too Marvel-like. Lawrence pushed back, saying the players have only heard 6 or 7 lines from him, and that while his honesty is important to his personality, that doesn't make him completely unserious. She added that God of War Laufey is still very much a God of War game, just told from a different perspective.
Hey,
Look,
or could it be that the Jack Quaid character's only 6 or 7 lines has already turned people off, and maybe that's a problem?
Look, I think there's justifiable criticism. I think there's also unjustifiable criticism, like trolling, angry criticism. But I don't know what you expected. People to just blow you for, hey, we get another God of War and it's a woman, and then everybody just like, oh yeah, this is exactly what.
About time.
You know what
I've been
want?
waiting for the past 10 years.
You know what I want? When I go to play Halo and I'm getting Master Chief, and then they go, actually, this game is about a girl Master Chief dated in high school. And it's like, you know what? It's not the same. I'm here for Master Chief. That's not the same. No, she's just as good and also just as powerful, and also has her own armor, and also saved the galaxy. And it's like, ugh. You know what's not interesting? That story. If you want to tell a female-centered
really.
story, just tell a different story. Do that. Guess
Well-
what? Control's super cool. I don't think we needed the boy perspective, honestly.
Yeah. Now it's her brother. Whoa.
Suck a big one, God of War. But you know what? We're not done with this fiasco just yet. Because I had
State
a
of play.
No, I had a super giggle. You know who responded to the controversy?
Mm.
Domino's Pizza UK account.
Oh, well, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Quote,
Because of course a pizza chain needs to get involved.
God of
So
War
stupid.
game with no Kratos equals pepperoni passion with no pepperoni.
Yeah.
Okay, I take that back. Totally weigh in, Domino's.
And you know what? Guess who got really salty? Santa Monica. Oh, thanks for the feedback, Domino's Pizza corporate account. You know what Rhett loves? Corporations fighting on Twitter.
No, it's beautiful.
You know what? This is strong, Domino's Pizza UK.
Yes, it is.
I didn't understand. I didn't realize your game. I'm sorry.
Well, especially when they knew that there was controversy and they're like, you know, this is just like having a pepperoni passion with no pepperoni. Just sell it. Sell
I
the
totally
pizza, bro.
expected a different thing here.
No, I loved it. It made me giggle really hard.
Oh yeah. I just figured that this was another woke corporation coming out and saying, all you chuds out there.
I'm
I'm so down with Pizza Hut's message there.